Hello student, welcome to EPG Pathsala. I am Dr. Ajit Jaiswal from Department of Anthropology, Pondicherry Central University, Puducherry. Today we are going to discuss about a modules called as Applied Physical Anthropology under paper Physical or Biological Anthropology. The learning objective of these modules are as follows. In this modules we are going to find out the differences between applied and academic anthropology. We try to know the different types of applied anthropology and also try to find out the various domain of applied anthropology with illustrative example. Let's try to give you a glimpse of informations in the form of introduction. Applied anthropology tend to concept it lend its concept from a traditional anthropological and addressing a facets of a contemporary socio-economic, political and health issue facing different population and organization. The first use of the term applied anthropology occurred in the description of the Oxford program. Applied work undertaken by the Ethnological Society of the London and later the Anthropological Society of London, founded in 1843 and 1863 respectively, provided the field with much of its disciplinary infrastructure. The basic tenet of all sciences is to apply the result of their investigation in the welfare of human beings. As such, physical anthropology also utilizes their concept of primate evolution, biological aspect of human beings, and human variation to specific situation in an applied setting. Applied physical anthropology thereby indicate the applied concept in the field of physical anthropology. It mainly focuses on the process of evolutionary changes. The measurement, observation and the technique used by the physical anthropologist are employed in the field of medicine, dentistry, public health and criminal investigation. An applied physical anthropologist should have a solid background in data collection and assessment for successful carrying out the applied work. Thus, according to Jaiswal, the applied anthropology has rightly remarked that applied anthropology fulfill a useful and profitable function in the society of mankind. Here an attempt has been made to give a general view of the domain where physical anthropology has a practical implications. Applied anthropology versus academic anthropology. The application of knowledge, theory, method and data of anthropology in non-academic setting such as governmental and non-governmental organization, medical hospitals and corporate sector to address societal issue is known as applied anthropology. It is sometimes referred to as practicing anthropology. Applied anthropologists put anthropological knowledge into real-world practice. Practical anthropological application started in the 1960s as its holistic and ethnographic perspective fit the social interest of that period. It spread in the 1970s as anthropologists were absorbed in international or national organizations, corporate sector, and governmental institutes. Academic anthropology referred to teaching and adding to the knowledge base of anthropology. It focuses on teaching, training, research, and writing. It began in the early 20th century by Malinowski, Boas, and the like, and the World War II fostered its growth. However, an academic anthropologist can carry out applied anthropological work at the same time. Similarly, an applied anthropologist can speak and write about their experiences, thereby adding information to the academia as well. Types of applied anthropology. Applied anthropology comes from all the four subfields of anthropology, that is applied physical anthropology. Applied physical anthropologists work in genetic counseling, substance abuse, then epidemiology, aging, mental illness, forensic, public health and nutrition. Whereas the applied archaeological anthropology, it manages cultural resources. They study the cultural studies. They study, locate and preserve historic and prehistoric sites threatened due to the developmental work. Whereas in the case of applied social anthropology, social anthropologists work with businessmen, economic development expert, social worker, advertising professionals, factory workers, medical professional, school professional, etc. Whereas the applied linguistic anthropologists, these anthropologists work in a distinct school with various languages. Domain of applied physical anthropology. The measurement technique used by applied physical anthropologists is termed as anthropometry. Hansen and Cornock 1958 have described anthropometry as the theory and practice of taking bodily dimensions by suitable instrument and the orderly treatment of the resulting data. The technique is widely used in human engineering. It is divided into four areas, that is somatometry, concerned with measurement of both living and dead body; osteometry, measurement of the skeleton or bone; craniometry, it is the measurement of the skull; and cephalometry, which is concerned with the measurement of head and face. These measurements give information about the proportion among different limbs. Population variations due to age, called as physical growth, physique, and its relation to sports, that is kin anthropometry, nutritional status, etc. They are employed in measuring military personnel for designing railroads, airplane seats, and space suits. It is divided into dynamic and static measurement. Static measurements are used to provide space and clearance around the body of fit people. In applied anthropometry, dynamic measurements are more important because the measurements are done when the body moves while working and objects are designed based on this. Kin anthropometry or anthropology of sports. Physical anthropological methods are utilized in sports as relation between body build, physique, etc. are seen with activities of sports. One's physical active capacity determined by heredity and health is called potential physical capacity, whereas the capacity developed through physical exercise is termed as acquired capacity. Exercise can reduce or increase the quantity of fat, strength, endurance, speed of contraction, and elasticity of a muscles are directly associated with sports activities. Right kind of physical activities can help in the development of vitality, vigor, skill, and stamina, which is necessary for sports. Every individual has his peculiar capabilities determined both by heredity and environment, thereby posing a unique problem. Structure and function of different parts of human bodies are interrelated. In order to remain physically fit, one needs to perform some kind of exercise which is termed as the minimum level. Even for this level, the instructor should be careful in assigning the kind of sports to the individual. He should assign only after studying the individual's mental and physical condition. This aspect is very vital when an individual is trained to make him or her an expert in a particular sport. At the same time, we should look at the physique, heredity, and aptitude of the individual. If we think of a rare competition, then it is expected that the brachycephalic, that is short leg, long trunk, are expected to win the race due to their stronger heart and larger lung when resistance is taken into account. Macroscalic, that is long leg and short trunk type, has a chance of winning. Bar exercise is an event of gymnastics and it should be adjusted to the height of the head or chest to derive the benefit. Sport physiologists use many of the body measurement techniques developed by physical anthropologists. Athletes' bodies are measured and the different body types are correlated with particular sports. Anthropology of sports studies sports in a systematic manner from a cross-cultural perspective. Tribal peoples and their sports are studied, which gives an understanding of how their way of playing games help in developing their physique and conduct in sports. Since 1928, physical anthropology of Olympic athletics has been interestingly studied. Kohlrausch measured approximately 300 athletes at Amsterdam. 1948 United States Olympic Games was studied by Kirsten. Their finding concluded that differences were observed in age, weight, and height among the various events. Tanner found out that there was marked differences in the somatotype of the athletes and the general population. Another case study performed in 1976, the Soviet Union State General Institute of Physical Culture studied adult sportsmen and found out that each sport has its own peculiar influence upon the physical development and functional capabilities of an individual. Basketball player had largest chest expansion while weightlifters and wrestlers had the largest chest circumferences. Swimmers had the largest lung capacity. Forensic anthropology. Forensic anthropology is one of the subfields of applied physical anthropology where the knowledge of physical anthropology is applied to law. It is considered as one because forensic anthropology is often called upon to testify as an expert witness to present his or her findings, which may prove or disprove the identity or cause of death of the victims. Skeletons are reconstructed from skeletal remnants by forensic anthropologists to determine the identity of an individual, be it age, sex, height, or any other physical characteristics of a human body. Besides this, the constructed bones reveal fractured bones, or surgery or dental work, nutritional stress, and socioeconomic living condition of the individual. This can aid the police in tracing out reported and unreported missing persons. Personal identification is done by identifying gender, age, height, race, fingerprint, scars, tattoos, deformities, moles, and handwriting. Biometrics is widely used these days for secure identification and personal verification due to increasing level of security breaches. It is a very important facet for both national and international security. Many organizations also use biometrics for enhanced user convenience, security, and maintain record. Dermatographics, the study of various untapped fingerprint classification, has also aided in personal identification. Forensic taphonomy. Forensic taphonomy deals with the external factors that affect the bone. Circumstances of an individual death can also be ascertained by either checking out the bullet holes or stab wound in the skeletal fragment, which is indicative of the particular weapons used in killing the victim. The forensic anthropology can also tell about the place, location where the individual was murdered, as they can determine whether the body was disturbed or transported after the murder. They apply their knowledge and technique even in the arena of genocide, terrorist and war crime by determining the population and the biological aspect of the deceased. However, forensic anthropology can be viewed as a sister rather than a daughter discipline of physical anthropology. It is because forensic anthropology utilizes the principle of both archaeology and physical anthropology. Recovery, preservation, and documentation of the evidence employ the technique of archaeological anthropology, while the laboratory analysis and reconstruction of identity and forensic taphonomy employ the technique of physical anthropology. Ergonomics. The study of man in relation to his working environment is termed as ergonomics. Physical anthropologists provide the anthropometric measurement to create a smooth interface with the product and the varied dimension of the human body. Corner and Gordon in 1996 have rightly said that product from toothbrushes to a luxury items are touching ergonomic design. The limb proportion and the use and the size of the body vary in different population. For this, age, gender, nature of work, and place of operation should be taken into account for designing the item. Let us illustrate some example here. Different kinds of furnitures are used in different places. Desks and chairs are used in schools and colleges. Kitchens, furnitures, office tables, file shelves, drawing rooms, furnitures, bedroom furnitures, bathroom fittings, etc. should be designed according to the convenience of the user as per their body size. If seats in road vehicles, airplane, train, etc. are not properly designed, then the passengers will not feel comfortable. Workers in industry will work more efficiently if they can use the surrounding and the equipment comfortably. Case study: seats on train. Using anthropometric data of people, applied anthropologist Houghton conducted research in the seating alignment in trains to make more comfortable seats. He found out that certain bad seating arrangement result in bad posture, skeletal, muscular, and other disabilities, whereas good seating arrangement enhance improved circulation, respiration, and corrected posture. Through the analysis of variation in the anthropometric body measurement, train seats were redesigned. Based on this observation, seats for educational institutes, offices, and vehicles were designed. Next case study is armed forces. Anthropometric survey on military personnel are conducted to get their body measurements, which are used to meet various demands. Since 1951, the National Military Academy in Mexico has been doing effective work in this domain. Biometric investigations are widely used in the selection of cadets. The Air Force also used the anthropometric data in solving spatial problems in aircraft and in redesigning flight clothing. Anthropometry is also used to design the cockpit as per body size, seat for the passengers aircraft, designing of tank and gun sight, pressure chute and helmet, anti-gravitational chute, gas mask, pistol and guns, etc. The Quartermaster Corps emphasize on finding out the relationship between body and clothing measurements so that the clothes may fit the military personnel with minimum or no alteration. Neuroanthropology. In contemporary cognitive sciences, the neuroanthropology studies how the interaction of culture and biology affect the development of human brain and behavior. The neurological perspective on the human brain suggests that the evolutionary framework of human culture is rooted in a pre-existing primate. Neural systems, neurological mechanisms with positive emotions are the basis for, for this particular concept like yoga and meditation. The influence of cultural variation in neurological concept is in its infancy. The role of culture in neuroplasticity extends throughout human brain evolution. Therefore, the role of metabolic stress is required to understand the relation of empathy and other social emotion to some to some states. Hence, investigation of a traditional culture on brain is done by studying the level of physical activity and calorie intake through indirect method, which makes use of a physical anthropological technique. Pattern of neurodynamics has been studied among ethnic group in India and has been found that the thinking pattern remain almost same till the ages of the 31 in both the genders, and there is little differences in feeling in both the gender till middle age. Fashion anthropology. A new field of anthropology termed as fashion anthropology has emerged. Physical anthropologists use their anthropometric method to give information about the different size and shape of the body to the cloth manufacturer for them to adjust the label required to fit the customers. Footwears used in varied occasions are also designed based on the measurement of the size and shape of the foot of different ethnic population. Depending upon body size, clothing for the armed forces is developed. Clothing, bag, etc. are designed based on the principle that a person is capable of carrying weight to a certain level. If the weight is distributed all over the parts of the body, this way the individual can lose less energy and work more judiciously. Medical science. The method and data of physical anthropology have been extensively used in the field of medicine, dentistry, gynecology, orthopedics, orthodontics, pediatrics, prosthetics, etc. The medical doctors require the knowledge of anthropometry for measuring the patient. A gynecologist should know the dimension of the pelvis of the expected mother and the approximate circumstances of the head of the baby in the womb. Likewise, an orthopedic surgeon should have an idea about the measurement of the bone at the time of diagnosing the presence of a bone lesion. Different disease resistance of optimum temperature, humidity, etc. are understood by utilizing the result of study of the physical anthropologist. Physical health and epidemiology. Physical anthropologists study the distribution and determinant of disease in various ethnic populations, and its findings are used for intervention and to promote health in the studied population. The effect of lifestyle transitions and the role of epigenetics on health and disease of different ethnic populations are also explored, thereby it aids in public health and epidemiology. Example is relationship between various body measurement and medical outcomes are examined. Then there is another example, malnutrition in resource, that is poor clinical settings are diagnosed with the help of anthropometric measurement. Medico-legal aspect. Knowledge of human genetics, one of the main fields of physical anthropology, is used in paternity diagnosis. Paternity diagnosis arises in situations where questions arises whether a particular man or woman is the father or mother of a child, or claim a long lost child, or a couple may suspect that their child has been interchanged with another baby in the hospital, or anyone can claim a child as their for inherited property or the like. Genetic relationship exists between the patient and the child. Exclusion of parentage can be said with certainty, but one can never prove parentage. Genetic evidence can say that person could be the parent of that particular child. The most widely used genetic trait for judging paternity disputes are the blood group system, that is ABO, MN and RH. Only one system may be sufficient, but sometimes more than two systems are taken into account. DNA fingerprinting is also used for paternity diagnosis. Eugenics. Eugenics is an effort to improve the quality of the human race. In today's world, it is not only the fittest one who survive, but it has become possible even for the unfit ones to survive. Thus, what should we do under such circumstances? Two measures could be applied. Reproduction among those whom society considered desirable should be encouraged, which is known as positive or progressive eugenics. The other measure is to discourage reproduction among those who have certain genetic defect, mental and physical, which is known as negative or preventive eugenics. It has been found that families of lower socioeconomic group have high average number of children, which is detrimental to the genetic quality of human population. They should be encouraged to restrict their family size and accept birth control measures. A case study is there. In early times, many children with a severe cleft palate and hair lip did not survive, but now, with modern surgery, they live a modern life. Thus, in recent time, the frequency of this gene is rising. To reduce such kind of increase in frequencies of undesirable genotype, various negative measures have been suggested. Genetically defective person has to be prevented from reproduction, and if the probability of giving birth to a defective children by a couple is very high, then they should go for medically induced abortion of the fetus. See the picture, it clearly shows that we need the condition has shown, the condition has arises where we need only healthy seed, a seed which must be free from all the disease and disorder. Now let's discuss about the genetic counseling. With the advanced level of human genetic, people seek advice for many reasons. In case where a person want to know the chances of having children with inherited defect, if he marries a girl who has a sibling with that defect, or for a couple to have a second child if the first is mentally ill, etc. Genetic counselor is contacted. A counselor provides all the necessary genetic and medical information, social, economic and psychological factor associated with the case, and leaves the choice to the person who seek advice. A genetic counselor happens to be either a medical doctor or a well-trained professional having specialized knowledge of human genetics. Accurate diagnosis of the disease should be done, and karyotyping is sometimes required when it is established that hereditary factors are involved in that particular trait. Then the hereditary background and the type of inheritance involved is determined through pedigree analysis. The counselor then gives advice on the basis of the finding in terms of probability and severity of the defect along with associated problem. Low risk and less severity is a different situation to high risk and high severity. The risk may be low but the probability may be high, whereas the risk may be high but the probability may be low. However, while disclosing the informations of the individual, care should be taken so that the person may not become psychologically upset. Genetic screening and its treatment. Genetic screening helps the future generation to get rid of many undesirable inherited diseases. Screening may be done at the intrauterine diagnosis and of the newborn. Amniocentesis, the method by which many biochemical disorders and most chromosomal abnormalities can be detected at the prenatal stages. If the diagnosis indicates certain defect in the fetus, then the parents are advised to think of considering abortion. A pregnant woman over the age of 35 years may have a high risk of carrying a baby with Down syndrome. Phenylketonuria is an inborn error of metabolism which is an autosomal recessive trait caused by mutation affecting the mechanism of metabolizing phenylalanine. It is characterized by mental retardation. If accurate diagnosis is done before the newborn needs medical attention, then the baby can be treated and mental retardation could be prevented. This kind of disease might be able to eliminate recessive gene disease by identifying heterozygotes and avoiding the marriage among them. Detection of non-affected carrier, that is sickle cell anemia, can be done by simple methods where mass screening at population level is very important. Genetic engineering or genetic manipulation. Hereditary diseases are treated by many methods. The correction of genetic defect by DNA technology is known as genetic engineering or genetic manipulation. There are different techniques involved, that is transformation, transduction and replacement. Transformation is concerned with the introduction of genetic information from the external sources. Free DNA is put into the cell and integrated into the DNA which receive the same. Hence, the DNA is transformed, leading to the correction of the defective gene. In certain cases where foreign DNA is not accepted by the recipient DNA, RNA is isolated and DNA transcription with RNA-dependent DNA polymerase is prepared. In human, DNA technology has corrected many enzyme defects. Transduction is one where virus mediated the DNA that is introduced to the host genetic information to the host. Genetic information from the host DNA is incorporated into the virus DNA. Then the bacterial material is transferred to the new host and becomes active in the new cell. Functionally, homologous viral genes replace defective genes. Presence of virus or the association of viral infections with certain metabolic traits may be beneficial for human. History and sociology. The data of physical anthropology has given the correct interpretation of the fact in the subject like history and sociology. Physical phenomena in prehistory and ancient history where written documents are either lacking or are very insufficient to reach at a definite conclusions are explored through the finding of a physical anthropologist. Due to the analytical study of the physical anthropologist today, the doctrine of racial superiorities and inferiority in the history of different countries prevalent to fulfill different political and economic motives has been proved absurd. The physical anthropologists have studied the races of mankind in a careful way and are trying hard to eradicate this particular disease from human society. The importance of physical anthropology is utilizing by the new classical sociologists in their study and research. Malinowski has remarked that social and cultural determinism always modifies the individual physiology. Future prospects. Research-oriented and action-oriented work or academic anthropology and applied physical anthropology should be mediated in order to open more ways for gaining employment and bring the historically divided arenas more closely to each other. Now let's try to give you information, some of the important information in the form of summary. Use of anthropological theory and method in practical situation is termed as applied anthropology. Physical anthropology is also tremendously applied to offer practical solution to problem of a varied situation, which is known as applied physical anthropology. Here, applied physical anthropology or applied anthropology and physical anthropology play vital role like working with human engineering data to design suitable environment and aid police in identification and investigation of disaster or murder victim. Anthropometry is the application measurement used by applied physical anthropologists, which is the standard technique of measuring body dimension by calibrated instrument. Applied physical anthropologists have also integrated anthropometry into clothing, design, product manufacturing, and ergonomic. It has a special role in kin anthropometry or anthropology of sports. One of the subfield of applied physical anthropology is forensic anthropology, where anthropological data is applied to law. The method and the data of physical anthropology have been extensively used in the field of medicine and other medicine related field also. Like different diseases resistance of optimum temperature, humidity, etc. are understood by utilizing the result of study of the physical anthropology. The effect of the life history, transmission and role of epigenetics on health and disease of different ethical populations are also explored, thereby it aids in public health and epidemiology. Even the eugenic is also an effort to improve the quality of human race. Genetic screening, like we will get also will try to discuss about the genetic screening that help the future generation to get rid of many undesirable inherited disease. Even we discuss about genetic engineering, genetic manipulations and number of other features related to that, which clearly explain the scope of applied anthropology as varied. Henceforth, it serve a profitable function in the society of human being. Thank you.